North Korea is typically known for being a rather oppressive country with a lot of poverty. However, there are a special group of millennials who come from wealthy families who have made their way to Pyongyang, and they are making quite a statement. There's a reason why Pyongyang is nicknamed Pyonghattan, and it's because these rich kids of North Korea are dedicated to making their lives a bit more Western. Before we get started, make yourself feel like you're living the high life by subscribing to our channel. Click on that rich red subscribe button, and while you're at it, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment for us below because it might just be featured in a future video. Typically, we don't think of teenagers and 20-something millennials as the dominant age group among the wealthy. We usually think of older men and women who've been doing business for decades and managed to accumulate tons of wealth. And yet, there are a select group of kids who make up the 1% who you can find in the Democratic People's Republic, also known as North Korea. They inhabit an exclusive part of Pyongyang that is known as Pyonghattan, a play on word from Manhattan. North Korea's backward economy has most people earning around $10 per month, but these rich kids have managed to either become self-made millionaires or they made wise decisions with their parents' money and created their own fortune. These kids are known as the Donju, which means masters of money. The crazy thing is that the Donju usually hold government positions as well. Like other places around the world, if you have money, it talks rather loudly. In terms of North Korea, it means living a completely different lifestyle from the general population and maybe even earning an extra privilege or two. Living in North Korea means that you're usually cut off from the outside world, but for the Donju and their families, they have opportunities to enjoy things from the Western world, such as music. While they may be a bit behind on current trends of music, they can get access to pop music like Britney Spears and maybe a boy band or two. They can also get recordings of Western programming because they can afford to pay for it through the black market. It's also not uncommon for the children of military officials to go to college in China and earn money there. They then send that money back to North Korea to help enhance their family's wealth. The very fact they can enjoy traveling back and forth from Pyongyang to China is significant and not typical for most families. You can call this a major perk of being among the 1%. One of the biggest perks of being a rich kid in North Korea is that you don't have to wait as long for government approval for things like cars. You'll find that the general population is spending $40,000 for a small compact car, which that alone is crazy. With this in mind, the rich kids of North Korea are shopping and driving expensive car brands like Audi and BMW. Even without the crazy taxes and import fees, these cars are expensive, so the government probably appreciates the extra money. Speaking of shopping, while the Western world is traditionally thought of as evil, the brat pack of rich kids can still shop at places like Elle, Zara, Nike, and H&M. It allows them to buy stuff we take for granted, like leggings, tights, and sportswear, which they can then show off at the gym. Technically, they still have to dress conservatively, but when they're at the gym, that seems to be the place where it's okay to show off skin as well as the curves of your body. Once these rich kids are done with their shopping, they need sustenance to refuel. But one of the more depressing facts about North Korea is that food is hard to come by. Between a poor management of the country's food supply and a famine to make things all the more complicated, much of North Korea's population is malnourished. In fact, it's believed that the children of North Korea are shorter and less developed than the kids of South Korea due to the difference in food supply. But for the kids of the 1%, food is not a problem. Like we said earlier, money talks. If you can afford to visit a restaurant, you can get things like steak and a baked potato for $48, or find some fast food for between $7 to $10. Remember when we said the average monthly salary is $10? These rich kids are living in a completely different world where they can drop a few months' pay for a gourmet meal. Even something as simple as enjoying a cappuccino can tell an onlooker a lot about how much money you have. Besides eating and shopping, the brat pack still yearns for entertainment. We mentioned the gym earlier, where they can get away with some more flexibility when it comes to wearing certain clothes. Also at the gym, it's not uncommon to see people running on treadmills with Disney movies playing on the television. Not only that, but there's a bowling alley at the center of Pyongyang that's really popular. You won't see regular folks going around these places as they often require admission and membership fees. Of course, North Korea's access to entertainment may seem a bit behind compared to the rest of the world, but they're catching up and have much of the Donju to thank. There is also the People's Pleasure Park in Pyongyang, where the elite can enjoy rides and 3D movies. It includes an arcade, bumper cars, and pretty much anything you would want in a small-scale amusement park. Kim Jong-un has also ordered the construction of more amusement parks, water parks, and even skate parks.
Excellent!
So North Korea is slowly catching up and their rich kids are benefiting. Kim Jong-un is technically considered a millennial, and some of the decisions he has been making for the country definitely reflects those values. By commissioning all of these different parks, North Korea's leader has introduced a different way to live life for the country's citizens. Well, at least for their rich citizens. Kim Jong-un is likely very aware of the different standard of living between the rich and the poor, and he's not doing much to change it. If anything, he's likely encouraging it. The most wealthy include the country's highest-ranking military officials who often travel around the world. They will also collect goods like TVs, movies, music, and more, and then sell it once they get back to North Korea for a hefty price. Nonetheless, Kim Jong-un is becoming very pro-market, and he's doing it because it benefits his fellow millennials who now make up about 25% of the population. It will be interesting how much North Korea changes in the next few decades thanks to the Donju and their need to spend money and be entertained. Speaking of entertainment, the Brat Pack of North Korea enjoy their share of vacations. There is the Masig Pass ski resort where you can hit the slopes and stay in one of the 120 rooms at the hotel. This place is only for tourists and the most elite of North Korean kids. For about $100 for the day, one can ski and enjoy the resort's amenities. For $500 for 2 nights, there's the hotel stay, the ski school, as well as transportation. The resort features imported snowmobiles and an Austrian ski lift. You will definitely find the wealthiest of families networking and connecting at this fine resort. But if you're looking for a warmer climate, there is the Miram Riding Club, where you can learn how to ride a horse. Lessons are $35, and you can learn everything there is to know about riding and horse care. Compared to the ski resort, the riding club seems cheap, but as mentioned before, a month's worth of pay is usually around $10. So a poorer family would have more to sacrifice for a riding lesson. In North Korea, plastic surgery is something that can cost over a year's worth of salary. But many North Korean women are gearing towards getting plastic surgery because it opens more opportunities for work and networking. Basically, these women are getting work done on their eyelids and noses in order to look more Western. This usually costs around $200 if you get a good plastic surgeon. Why is this allowed all of a sudden? Well, North Korea got tired of being left in the dust when it came to the fashion and beauty industry. South Korean women are getting recognized as some of the most beautiful people in the world, and even they are getting work done. In Western cities like Los Angeles and New York, men and women are getting plastic surgery done all the time, like it's a visit to the spa. North Korea will likely not ever reach that level with all the chest enhancements and tummy tucks and such. After all, this is still a country that heavily controls the colors you wear and how your hair should look on a regular basis. You can't cover all realms of entertainment without having an amazing social circle to accompany you. For the average North Korean, access to the city nightclubs is restricted, but there is some leniency for the tourists that visit. That means there's also leniency for the country's richest kids. Usually, the local hotels will host some sort of nightlife entertainment. Technically, these privileges aren't open to locals, but there are whisperings that the 1% will take advantage of these opportunities using their position of power and money to make their way through the door. While the average tourist may find an empty casino or bar, there might just be a few of the most elite locals of Pyongyang sitting next to you. When it comes to nightclubs, they are becoming popular places to dance the night away and relieve stress. Even as a member of the 1%, living in North Korea has its tension, and a night out can help deal with the stress. If there's one thing you should take away from this video, it's that money talks a lot. There is a lot the rich kids of North Korea can get away with, like wearing colors, form-fitting clothes, showing off skin, wearing Western fashion, getting plastic surgery, and then some. Of course, having tons of money doesn't mean that these rich kids can go and paint the town red. They still have to keep up appearances and follow the strict laws of the land. Yet, these kids will never go hungry. You will often find them driving the latest luxury cars, vacationing at the finest available resorts, and entertaining themselves at the hottest restaurants. It's not too far off to say that you might even find them enjoying some adult beverages that are brewed especially for North Korea. In general, it's fair to say they're almost like the millennials who are out partying the night away in Manhattan, or shall we say, Pyonghattan. Think you want to live life as a rich kid in North Korea? Tell us in the comments and show us some love. We invite you to stick around as our next video is coming right up. Before you go off to make your fortune, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Thanks for watching!